Welcome back to Good Day Northern Michigan. Today we are so excited to welcome the newly crowned Miss Heart of Michigan and Northern Michigan native Ashley Cetnarowski.
Ashley, thanks so much for being here. Good to have you. We want to start first by just having you give us the background, how you got into the pageant world, what kind of got you interested in it in the first place.
So I had seen an ad many years ago, about 10 years ago now, and I submitted an application thinking in my brain, I remember exactly where I was. I was sitting in the Traverse City Mall, and I thought, there's no way they're going to accept this small town Northern Michigan girl to come compete on this stage. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, I got the email that that's exactly what they wanted. So wow. I got started about 10 years ago, and it was about 4 years ago that I got involved in the Miss America opportunity.
So walk us through what competing in this Miss America, I don't know the verbiage, but like that corridor versus what you were doing before, and now, you know, being Miss Heart of Michigan, just the process, I guess, and what goes into that.
So what I love about Miss America is that it's so service-based. It's about how you serve your community, how you carry yourself, and generally about how you want to change the world. So getting involved with Miss America for me was all about the want to serve my community. So we compete in a private interview, an onstage question, a talent portion, and an evening gown.
Wow. So coming up with all that, what was that like? How do you dwindle it down?
Yeah.
Prepare, yeah.
It really starts from the inside out, which sounds a little bit cliche, but when you carry yourself on stage, it's all about the confidence that you have. And my goal as Miss Heart of Michigan is I want young women from the Northern Michigan region to look at me and to be able to say, if she can do it, I want to do it as well. Because when I was growing up, I never had a role model such as that, specifically from these small town rural communities who are so integral to the structure that makes up the state of Michigan. We have some very strong, confident, capable leaders in Northern Michigan, and I want to be able to unlock that and inspire that.
Oh, I love it.
So in the process of becoming Miss Heart and then now going on to the Miss Michigan pageant, how many other contestants will there be? How many are you up against? What other parts of the state?
Yes, so I am taking on the stage with 21 talented women across the entire state of Michigan. And being the only candidate from Northern Michigan is incredibly special to me because I get to show the Northern pride. We're often underrepresented in the Miss Michigan competition, so being able to, again, just show young girls that they can do it as well is incredibly special to me because the majority of the girls are from the lower peninsula.
Yeah. And if you are comfortable, can you share just a little bit about your story? Because, you know, before we came on, we were talking about the background of where you came from, how you got here, and maybe some of even the struggles you faced.
Yes, so all of the candidates in Miss America are encouraged to have a service initiative, and mine is called She Is Her Own Hero, and it talks about heroism coming from within. When I was 19, I failed out of my dream college, and that was something that was a struggle for me for many years. It's definitely not something that I've openly admitted until recently in my life. But what I've learned from that is how resilient I am. Well, I was going to school part-time and I was working part-time as well, but it wasn't until this past year that I realized I wanted to turn my life around and I wanted to be my own hero. So I'm now enrolled at Saginaw Valley State University where I'm a 4.0 student earning my bachelor's degree.
That's
so cool.
Amazing. Like, that story gives me chills. Like, just how cool to see you go from one extreme to another, really.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of us in our life have faced some sort of extremity such as that, but it's the willingness to talk about it in an open setting that encourages others to rise from their own failure.
I love that.
And once you graduate, what do you want to do with your degree?
I want to be a public school elementary teacher serving the rural communities here in Northern Michigan.
So we could get you back here in no time.
You very well could.
Awesome.
You will, perhaps.
Yes. Talk to us more about the when the pageant is for Miss Michigan, and then really what happens from there. I mean, we know the next phase, but give us kind of the timeline and the rundown.
Yes, so Miss Michigan is in June of this year. It's going to be at Muskegon at the legendary Froenthal Center. So if you're interested in coming out and supporting your Northern Michigan girl, you can do so on Thursday and Saturday, that week of June 14th. After that, Miss Michigan goes on to Miss America, which is incredibly exciting. Our current Miss Michigan, Janae, is such a kind individual, and just watching her go on to that has been so incredibly inspiring. Miss America is actually taking place in September this year, so it's a little bit of a quick turnaround, but for me, the goal is really to serve the community, not just here in rural Northern Michigan, but expanding that service as Miss Michigan beyond those lines with a focus on rural communities and the Upper Peninsula.
We had her on the show last year, and that was just a fun experience to get to know her as well. In the meantime, throughout the next coming months and even through the summer, I mean, what do you hope to do in the communities as Miss Heart? Will we see you in parades or volunteering around the community?
Yes, so you will see me, especially here in the Easter season. I'm volunteering at several Easter egg hunts. Another thing that I'm very passionate about is FIRST Robotics. So I'm going to be going to their state competition this upcoming weekend, which is at my school, Saginaw Valley State University. And I'm going to be sharing my story with the students about overcoming from failure, because as a former FIRST participant myself, failure is something we experience when we're working on intricate robots. And that's a message that I want to share with that. Another program that I'm very involved with is the American Legion Auxiliary Girls State. We are a mock government that models the structure of the state of Michigan, so it's geared toward rising seniors in high school, and it allows them the opportunity to run their own government. And if that's not youth female empowerment, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I agree. I love that. And I love your story. Another question I just have is, what is it like when you go to the competitions and you're around these other strong, confident women? I feel like just getting to know them would be so cool. But also, on the other side, I'm sure it can feel a little bit intimidating. Like, what do you do for yourself to get yourself into that mindset and just, to form these relationships with them too?
These women are absolutely incredible. That's one of the pillars of Miss America, is the sisterhood. It's something that continues to come around time and time again. And I'll be totally honest, when I first started competing, it was intimidating being around these strong, intelligent, and accomplished women. And it took me a couple years in the organization to realize that I'm at this table with these incredible women because I am one of them as well.
Yes.
And that's one of the keystone messages that I have for people, is just believing in what you bring to the table, because it might be unique and it might be different, but it's still just as important.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it.
Tell us how we can learn more, or if you need support from the community and your local folks wanting to help you get to the next level.
Absolutely. So I can be found on social media at Miss Heart of Michigan. If you ever see me in the community, just come talk to me. I like to think I'm a pretty cool gal. I have a lot of interesting things to say, and just let me know how I can help you along this journey as well. Let me know if I can promote your business or if we can create a partnership together, because that's really what my goal is as Miss Heart of Michigan, is to bring that Northern pride to the biggest stage in the state.
Good.
Amazing.
And the next several weeks are, weightlifting and trying on dresses and doing all the studying, right?
You got it. That's the dream.
A little of everything, right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
Excellent.
it has been so wonderful to talk to you and just hear about your journey, your inspiring story that I know so many people will be inspired by as well. And we're so excited to follow along with you, and we wish you the very best.
Oh, thank you guys so much.
Hopefully have you back in June with the good news, I hope.
Yes, you just might.
Awesome. Thank you so much.